covered in snow right now.
Okay, I'm a little bit out of breath, but yesterday I went to the local lumber yard and we picked up these quarter rounds. They're basically just scrap material when they're milling lumber. And I don't know, I feel like we got a decent price on it. He said $150 to fill up my trailer as much as I can. And you can see I got my saws out. I'm already cutting some, a little over 8 feet, and then pretty much over 4 feet on that pile, because our plan is to build some 4x8 garden beds with this quarter round material. So I honestly felt like I could have piled more on here when they were loading it, but I was just a little nervous of the trailer and the weight, and you know, the Bronco's been doing, you know, okay, so I didn't want to overdo it. I think we'll have enough to build, you know, hopefully around 3 garden beds. And if things keep working out, you know, we'll keep going back to this local lumber yard. I'd rather support a small local business than go to just, you know, a big box store or some huge, you know, national lumber yard. So yeah, I'm just cutting this stuff up right here inside the trailer, because it's just heavy. Even when I cut them down to 8-foot section, it's heavy. I gotta drag them out. And so yeah, just gonna keep chopping away and empty the trailer. Okay, so I've kind of come up with, I guess, like a little process on how to make the side walls of the garden beds. Now, all this stuff is just like the discarded pieces when they're milling, right? So they're all uneven sizes, different thicknesses. They go from, you know, a couple inches thick, taper down to very thin. And I want to make the garden beds all equal sides so they look somewhat universal. So here's one side that I did. So it's basically 2 that I've cut into 6 inches and then butted them together to make a 12-inch sidewall. So this is the 4-foot section, so it's 4 feet long by 12 inches tall. And then obviously I just used a little piece of scrap wood to hold them together. And let's see if I can do this. And you know, the live edge, the natural side, will just be the exterior of the garden bed, which, you know, looks cool. Ashley likes it, so I like it. And then how I did that, I'm kind of drawing another one up right here. So this particular piece actually already has one edge cut, like it's already, you can see it's squared, right? So it's natural on that side, and then this side is just, see how it's pointy on that side and then kind of cut right here. So I'm going to turn this into another like 6 inches. So what I did was just got some scrap plywood, and I've got, this is 6x12, I got an 8x12 and a 10x12, and I just use this kind of like a template. So what I did was the one square edge all the way along this side, I just butted up inside this little frame that I made. Got my 12-inch plywood as a template, butted up to, you know, this edge right here, and then traced my line. Used my level right here to just make one straight line, and then I just go in here with my skill saw, cut that edge. You see there's some of the other edges I ripped off, and then yeah, that'll be the other 4-foot side. So I need to make 2 of these. Basically just duplicate this, and that'll be the 2 4-foot ends, and then I'll use the longer ones to make my 8-foot runs, and then I have a 4x8 rectangle garden bed. Make my dollar stretch with this you know, the quarter round lumber, and see how many garden beds I can build. I did one right here. This was a much larger piece, and I used the chainsaw, which is over there, to cut it, because obviously my little skill saw, the blade is only goes like maybe 2 1/4 inches, and this thing is obviously like, I don't know, 3 inches or so. So I used the chainsaw to rip this one, and now this one is 10 inches, and I think I might make another one that's 8 inches, and then that'll be an 18-inch sidewall when I screw them together like this. But this is what I got going so far. So I got both sides screwed together, and I was getting ready to join them together to make the rectangle, but they're really heavy. So I've decided to wait till tomorrow until Ashley's a little bit more available, and I'm just gonna assemble them wherever they're gonna like kind of live, because they're just too heavy to transport and move around and everything. And it's just a couple of screws that's holding it together, so it's pretty basic, pretty straightforward. So I think what I'm going to continue doing is just making more walls, more pieces, if you will. So this is already one planter bed that can go together, pretty much built. So I got the idea, got the concept. I think it's going to work decently. I think another thing I'm going to do, obviously once they're connected, I'm going to get some scrap 2x4 and run them long ways. So a couple just 4-footers on the inside, tying these the long runs together to help with the bowing. And then it'll also give me something to staple the mesh screening we're going to put underneath. And we need the mesh so that the rodents don't dig underneath the garden bed. But again, I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow to do that, so Ashley can help me figure out where to place it, things like that. But yeah, I just wanted to show the progress. And all I did too is I've just found some scrap 4x4s, and I'm just putting them in the corners and then screwing them in. It's pretty straightforward, pretty basic, I think, and it's looking pretty cool. All right, so end of day 2, I have another garden bed made. This one is 16 inches tall. That one was 12 inches tall. And they're just floating right here. They're not screwed together. You know, the walls can tip over right now. We just don't know exactly where we're going to put them. But pretty much this whole area, which is a lot of space, is where we plan to have the garden. So a lot more garden beds we're going to be building and making throughout the year, but we need something right now just to kind of get started, you know. Got to start somewhere. But yeah, this is it for the end of day 2. And again, this is my first time ever trying to work with this quarter round slabs. It's just like, you know, scrap material for the sawmill. And I actually got a decent amount of lumber still. There's still a lot of stuff. So far I'm happy. Some of the pieces are really heavy, and hard to move. That's about it. And I'm just, you know, by myself doing it right now. But not the end of the world. It's not crazy hard. I'm still managing. You can see right here, still got, these are all at least 8 feet. These ones are a little over 4 feet. Still got a decent amount. These were the rough cut stuff that I didn't do anything with this. But still not bad. You know, here's like a 4x6 beam right here. Some very small planks. So this was just stuff they threw in the trailer. And then these are some of the finished ones that I squared up and cut the sides. So I've just been cleaning up, putting all my tools away for the day. And then I like to get a little fire going, and all the little scraps and cut-offs and you know, these are all just the little ends that I cut. I just burn them. Have a little campfire. All that wood right there, it's all just campfire wood. So I just like to get rid of it, just so it's not like all this crap laying around. Even though I'm just, you know, outdoors and in nature, I guess. I still try to keep it kind of clean around here. That's why I like to put things on pallets, you know, try to stay organized. I hate working in messy environments. You know, hopefully I can build a roof and have some coverage over here so I can work in the shade, keep my stuff protected during the rain or snow. Probably keep tools out here if I had a roof. But yep, that's it for day 2. We'll see what we end up doing tomorrow.
All right, so we're working on our garden beds today. Andrew burnt the inside to help with any moisture and any insects, and we're laying this like coated wired mesh on the bottom. We're using what we have on the property. It was gifted to us by his cousin Josh. Thanks, Josh. So it will allow us to still get good drainage, but will prevent any rodents from coming in. We've got ground squirrels and rabbits that love to dig and get in there, so we're hoping that that will help to prevent them from getting to our crops. All right, so here is our finished garden bed. We used half rounds for the garden bed itself. We found these at a local mill here in Williams, and then Andrew used some scrapped wood, you can see, as some bracing in the corners and down the panels, just to make sure that they all stayed intact and gave them some support. He also put some bracing down the center and the bottom of them, so as we fill them with soil they don't bow out. And then we laid down some of this wired mesh so that we can keep any ground squirrels out but maintain some good drainage. We got 2 so far, and we're gonna do about 4 more for this season, and then every year we will add to it until we have created a beautiful garden out here. This will be our garden space, which is right in front of our cabin, but we got a lot of work to do, so stay tuned. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. We truly appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one.